Hello, everyone. We're going to review these practice examples of uh, retail LIFO, dollar value LIFO, and lower of cost or market in preparation for the homework that we will do that will look very similar. So hopefully you've already worked through the problems, and that this is just a review to make sure that you're on the right track. So I've also provided you with the actual spreadsheet that you can download so that you can see the whole thing at once like we're seeing it now. If you just view it on in Desire to Learn, it'll move parts of it to the next page. So I think it's hard to read that way. But we're setting this up as retail, LIFO. We've got two columns, our cost, retail. All of these numbers were given to us. Beginning inventory at cost and at retail. Now, in real life, most of this would be done only at year end. We would be tracking day to day everything based on retail. That's the whole point of a retail, inventory system. So we have 2.3 million at retail, suggested retail price. The freight obviously doesn't affect retail. Purchase returns that we sent back stuff that cost us 35 but would have had a retail value of 61. If there are purchase discounts, that would affect only the cost but not the retail. And because we're applying the lower of cost or market, we're going to add in the markups but ignore the markdowns for now. Okay, we'll wait till down here. So we have the markups here. This is just a total here that you can see the formula, and because we're using LIFO, we ignore the beginning line. Okay, that if we included the beginning, that would average it all together. But because we're using just the last stuff in, that makes it using LIFO. So this number, this is just a total of these. And this is a total of all those, not including the beginning. So you can see the formula is there if you download the spreadsheet. So then we're going to take that and divide by that. We get 57.08. How you round that and stuff is not going to be that big of an issue. I just took two decimal places. Again, not what we're focused on. Now, we left out the markdowns in calculating our cost of retail, but we have to put it in because we need to know what our ending inventory at retail is. So you can't just take it out altogether. You just have to wait till you've calculated your cost of retail. Markdowns are there. Sales, this is your sales. And then your ending inventory at retail, 425,000. Now, because this is LIFO, we have to compare that back to our beginning and say that we have two layers. A layer, the first layer of 195,000 value, okay, and a second layer which is between 195 and 425, or 230. So we take that new layer and we apply the new cost to retail percentage. So we take the 230 and multiply it by 5708. That's what the formula is here. We only multiply the new layer by the new cost, because the first layer, we know what the cost is. It's 109,000. So we take our cost of our new layer, cost of the old layer, add them together, and that is the inventory at cost we report on the balance sheet. So when we start next year, this 240, 290 would be here, and this 425,000 would be here. All right? So that's that. Then we do the process again. All right. Dollar value LIFO. We switch to dollar value LIFO at the ending or during 2018, whichever, but our ending balance in inventory at the end of 2018 is 2,340,000. That's what it was. We don't need to do anything with that. So the first year that we really actually have to work with is we're going to compare back to 2018. So we're going to take our inventory we count up, okay, and we're not using retail right now, so this is all costs. 2,435,000. First step is always take out the inflation. We divide by the 102. That's how you take out inflation. You get 2,387,255. We compare it to what we had the last time we had no inflation, which was last year, and the difference is 47,255. That's our new layer, because it's a difference between this number without inflation and this number without inflation. The original start point is always without inflation. That's our reference point. So we then take this new layer only and multiply by the 102 again. So we divided, then we multiply to get 48,200. That is our new layer. We add that to the original layer, and we get 2,388,200, which is your total inventory at the end of 2019. So 2020, we have our new number for inventory. We divide by the new inflation. So now that we've had 2 years since our reference point, the inflation rate obviously is more. So we divide by 106. We get this number here, 2,491,509. We compare it to the last time we had no inflation. Not to what we ended with, but when the last time we had no inflation, this number. Okay? That's what we compare to. That's our comparison. So our new layer is the difference between those two, which is 104,255. So now we have 3 layers. We have the original layer. We have the layer from 2019, and we have the new layer, which we multiply by the 106. Now remember, we already multiplied this by the 102 back here, so by using the 48,200 here, we don't multiply again. So it has already got the inflation put back into just that layer at the right amount, and then we put the inflation back into the 104 to get 110. Add up our 3 layers, and there's our ending inventory on the balance sheet. Okay, moving on to 2021, this is our inventory. Same step, take out inflation, 2,383,46. We compare it to the last time we had no inflation. When was the last time we had taken out inflation? Right here. See, we took it out, and that's the number. But we're not above that. We're below that, which means that we've gotten rid of some of the layers. So we go back to the time that we considered we had no inflation before that. And we go to this number. And lo and behold, we're below that. So we go all the way back to the last time. So we're looking for when this number is higher than a measure without inflation. This is the last time it was lower than this number. Okay, because this number is lower than this one. So we have to go to the next one. Keep going backwards. As long as it's higher than the last time you didn't have inflation, then we have a new layer. But if we don't, if we're lower than that, then we have to just keep going back. And in this case, we went all the way back to the beginning. And so we compare that, and our layer, okay, is 43,486. That's the difference between this and all the way to the back here. The layer from 2020 is gone. This layer is gone. And a part of this layer is gone. So this 43,486 is actually a 2019 layer. So when we put the inflation back, we use the 2019 inflation. 4346 times the 102. Okay, 44,356. Add that, okay? Add that to our beginning way back here, because all of this other stuff is now defunct. It doesn't apply anymore because it disappeared. And this is our ending inventory on the balance sheet. All right. Finally, the lower of cost or market. We had some items. There was information about what the net realizable value was and comparing it to the original cost. And so when the net realizable value is below the cost, then we have to apply lower of cost or market. So for these two items, lower of cost, the net realizable value was below the cost. For this one, the net realizable value is above the cost. So we can stop. We don't have to worry about that. But on these two, we have a loss, if you will. The difference between the original cost and its new net realizable value. We multiply that by the number of items, because each item we actually are down by this difference. And we get 805 for this item and 3,000 for this item. We can do them together. We can do them separately. Doesn't matter. 3805 is our total adjustment for lower of cost or market. The journal entry is generally a debit to cost of goods sold and a credit to inventory. Okay, and then to ask the question, if we go on to sell these items, okay, or at least when we sell them, our sales should be exactly the same as our cost of goods sold, because we reduced the cost of these items down to what we expect to sell them for, so that when we sell them, there is no profit, no loss. Okay, so we already recorded the loss, so that this was 2020. This would be recorded in 2020. This happens in 2021. All right, the loss is already in the year before, even though the items haven't been sold yet. And that's the tricky part. We're taking a loss on items we still have because there have been a drop in their value such that it's actually below the cost. So that now when we take it out of inventory and put it in cost of goods sold, it's exactly the same amount as what we receive, assuming we sell it for what we anticipated, what we estimated. Remember, our net realizable value is 165. That's what we're assuming we're going to sell it for. In this journal entry here, we sold it for what we thought we were going to.